Hey, my name is Gytis. I'm a product designer, and throughout my career, I've led multiple design teams, hired many UX designers, and reviewed over 100 of UX portfolios. In this video, I'll try to share of some of the knowledge that I've learned throughout the years working as a hiring manager, and hopefully that will help you to make your portfolio stand out. There we go. So it has a very interesting loading screen right up front. So I know that this is not going to be the most basic template-driven portfolio. It's going to be something more interesting. So some horse head and fish, and then, let's click enter, go into it. So following the same intro style and idea, I guess, this feels different. First and foremost, it follows a very basic structure, just from the quick scroll, intro, then the projects, and then the footer. So what I like up front is, first of all, have an interesting cursor, a brain for a cursor mouse, and then I've got some brain here thing going on, and then I also have a research section here, and I've already peeked into that, and I know that she's somehow related to research world and doing some research, so that's really cool, and a recurring theme. It helps me to learn a little bit about her personality, not just work and career. So having lived in 5 different cities across 3 continents, I have learned how to observe, adapt, and sit at the intersection of diverse disciplines and cultures. This unique perspective has allowed me to envision creative solutions that seamlessly blend form and function, balance user needs and business needs. My dream is to be able to use technology to empower individuals, tell stories, improve well-being, and create novel interactions. Let's work together to redefine and reimagine what's possible. So from this paragraph, I'm already learning quite a bit more than what I would usually see in some other portfolios, where they have like a sentence or two saying who they are and where they're from. She's already telling me about the fact that he traveled a lot, lived in different places, again, interacted with different disciplines and cultures, and then talks about what she dreams about, and sort of her goals and motivations and things that she wants to do: improve well-being, create novel interactions, empower individuals, tell stories. Some of it is templatey a bit and just fancy sounding phrases. Some of it is a little bit more interesting and personal, so maybe making it even more personal might be a way to go. But generally, I'm learning something new just from this one, and it piques my interest due to like the graphics, animation, the intro page. So I'm already interested to learn more. So let's pick the first project. Let's go into that. Yamaya, empower pregnancy with information. Okay, so this is a niche, slightly more niche product, not like your mainstream social app. So that's usually what I'm looking for, something a bit more interesting and niche, from a niche industry. So this was a part of a student design competition, 23, and time constraint 10 weeks, so not a lot of time. Scrum Master, chatbot, pregnancy empowerment. Okay, so that's interesting. Skip the design, so I can click that. I'm probably gonna go to high fidelity. Yeah, so that's nice touch, because I don't always have the time to read through the whole thing, and I just want to see whether their ability to deliver the final result is up to the standard that I'm looking for. So being able to like quickly jump to that, I think that's a good thing. Login with Figma, I think that's fine. I would do that. I'm not sure that everyone would do it, because I'm a designer myself, so I'm feel comfortable logging into Figma and checking things out there. But if there is a recruiter who's maybe not using Figma on a regular basis, they might not log in here. So if you can put a video, maybe take a screenshot, or like a video screenshot of you actually clicking through the prototype, and then this being just a video, I think that would be more inclusive. And then, okay, we've got some screenshots here. So that's cool. Okay, so that's maybe another way to view the prototype without actually obviously being able to click on it, is just to kind of go through it like that. Although screens are really quite small, so it's hard for me to understand the details and read into the actual text. and content. So as an overall picture, that's okay, but I would also be interested to be able to actually see details and actually read and trying to understand what's going on. And then at the end, we've got reflections, learning number 1, learning number 2. Okay, so that's interesting. So I would probably read this. This is something that I would usually ask during the interview with the person about what they've learned throughout the project, what they would do differently, or what they would do the same, what worked and what didn't. So showing these things up front, I think that's a nice touch. Gives me an indication that she probably understands how the interviews go and the questions that are being asked, and that also shows that she has a good feedback loop, most likely, so she's able to learn from her mistakes and from the projects and take those lessons to her next project. So that's a really great indication. And it's different than saying that, oh, I'm a quick learner, or that I have, I'm able to adapt and change and grow in my career with every project. This is saying that, but without actually saying that. So I think that's a really smart way that you've done it. And I'm just going to scroll back to actually see now her process, because let's say that I quite like the execution and the end result, but now I want to see how she actually achieved it and how she talks about her decision-making process. So primary problem, KPIs and potential impact. Okay, support users, empower users. For support of a map, local global healthcare workers, conducting user research. Okay, interviewing individual, 2 in USA, 1 Japan, 1 South Africa, so quite diverse set of users. And through the pregnancy, semi-structured interview format. And disclaimer, information, consent was provided. Okay, and then user research insights. Okay, so that's good. See bullet points of what she learned, the main pain points, the needs, and the summary. That's good. I might even cut this into even less information here. I'm just very wary of having a lot of paragraphs. This is probably not a big deal. There's not that much information overall in this whole page, so it might be okay, but it never hurts to simplify and concise even more. And then user personas. So after going through the research, talking with people, created 4 different user personas. Wonder why there are 4. Found several users, including social support. Keep the user at the core of the design. Okay, so out of this, I'm not quite sure why they had 4. Usually you want to have 1 primary, maybe secondary, and then if you need more than that, that's usually for like bigger projects. So I would be asking during the interview why you had 4, why you felt that there's a need. Maybe there were like you need to have fairly big difference, significant difference between these people and their needs. So maybe that is the case. So I just would like to clarify that. In the storyboarding, really nice storyboards. You don't really see a lot of these. So that's a great way, again, to present your ideas to stakeholders, other teammates, very quickly showcase what's the general idea and the context that the product will be used in. So that's really nice tool. If you're actually using that with most of the products you work on, then that's a nice thing to have. And that's it. So again, I went through the project already. I like that she has unconventional approach to the structure. She has the portfolio, then research, creativity, identity. So research talks about some of the research she conducted or is part of, which is really interesting. So I can learn more about her, and that she has like a scientific approach to the design background, not just in the design but also in some other areas. So that's great. She creates music, I think, and then she's part of some running clubs, photography. So just a lot of different things that she's doing. And then I really like the identity page here as well. This is like where she really quite concisely talks about all the different things that she's doing, and I'm learning a lot about her personality, and she's doing a lot of different things, creating a lot of different things. So very well versed and has a lot of different hobbies. So, you know, I felt like I learned a lot going through that, so appreciate that. And then very concise way of showing experience, where she worked for how long. And I think that was a great summary of like a LinkedIn page. And then let's connect. That's a kind of bolder move to add your kind of personal photo, which is not your usual professional LinkedIn type of photo here. So she's taking a little bit of a risk to shine her personality, which is good, I think. At least from my point of view, if I'm already going to an about page, it means I'm interested enough to learn about her personality, and this is exactly what she's doing. She's not just showing another LinkedIn photo, but she's actually trying to show that she has like different interests and hobbies and undertakings, and this is just helps me to form even a better picture of what kind of person she is. Okay, let's take a look at the portfolio of Evan, or even Kiffel. And he's a UX UI designer based out of New York, and it makes it easy for use to preferred mobile apps. Okay, so that's not really descriptive to me and very kind of template-y sounding. So I think you could come up with something better and a bit more interesting to add. So remember, this is like the first time I'm opening up your portfolio and I'm seeing information about you. So make sure that really catches my interest. Don't use the template sentences here, because that will, first and foremost, will deter me quite quickly. So you want to pique my interest, tell something maybe funny or interesting, or just telling about your process or about yourself a little bit more, so that I know who I'm, talking to, kind of thing, who I'm reviewing. And if it piques my interest, then I'm just more interested to view projects, and I might be more invested to go through your whole portfolio instead of just maybe looking at one piece of work. So this is quite important. Make sure you spend time to actually draft something that is interesting and compelling. So just from the curiosity, I'm just taking a look at the About Me page. Okay, so my name is Evan, I'm in New York, career founder courses for the foundation, and then completing studies for different agency freelancing. Okay, so has a bit more of experience. I don't know how many years he worked in the industry, so it's hard to tell whether he been working a year or two. And just a little bit more about himself. So I would say, take something from this whole text or really distill it to like a couple sentences and just add that into work. And maybe you don't need to have that About Me page at all. And let's take a look at the portfolio. Okay, so no footer there, just the 3 portfolio pieces using exactly the same mockup. So I would like to see differences so that it's a bit more interesting and compelling again. So this is so far looks like a very quick portfolio put together using like a web builder, picking a template, just changing a little bit of a text, and quickly adding mockups, and then I'm done. So if you are an experienced designer, or you consider yourself to be a more experienced, not a junior, then I want to see that reflected in your portfolio. So essentially, when you're creating portfolios, at the beginning, you probably want to update your portfolio pretty much every year, or as soon as you get a new project, but then probably within a year or maybe latest 2 years, you want to probably redesign the whole portfolio so that it reflects, your skill set and the way that you've grown in your career. Because it's not just about the actual portfolio pieces, but it's about the whole portfolio structure and how you present things. That's almost as important as the actual work that you've done. Simply because if it's really super boring and not interesting to me, I'm just not going to spend the time to really go into it. If I see that is, I can't find things, that the navigation does not make sense, or the layout and presentation is really not that great, then I will just skip it and just go to the next one. Sometimes I don't even open up projects if I see that the overall package is really, really poor. Then I would just go to another one. So make sure that you pick a good template that represents your current skill level, and then it's just going to be, you will have a better chance at someone looking and going through your whole portfolio. So just from the overview, I'm probably not going to look at more than one portfolio piece, realistically speaking. So I'm just opening up the first one because that seems to be the latest one. So let's see, client work, project duration 1 month. So short project. I'm seeing MVP. Okay, user interface design and MVP. Okay, so the objective was to design an MVP, and this is like an app for business owners to find virtual assistants. Okay. Interviews. The result was good to... So, okay, these are just some interviewees' feedback. So that's nice to see. Okay, then... So I've done some research and interview, then going into brainstorming, affinity maps and solutions. Some of the ideas were as follows. Okay, designing, and then straight into high fidelity designs. Okay, some sign up flows, home screen. Okay, that's maybe a little bit too much of a space to use for that header. I think it's a good idea to maximize the space you have and then show as much information as you can. Profile feed. Okay, so you're listing out the different things that I will be able to see and catch from this screenshot anyway. So picture tells more than, or what's the saying? Picture is more than 1,000 words. So if it's a good enough quality and I can actually read what's there, it's much easier for me to just take a look and I know what's in there rather than you listing the things that you've put it in. It would be more useful if you would articulate why you decided to go with, showing these particular things, but not something else. So if you cannot tell me everything with that visual and there's something additional, I want to see the behind story of decision making, not the description of that image. That's the main goal here. Generally the descriptions are very basic and broad. I want to see really specific things. Like in the portfolio, you don't want to include a lot of text. You want to be very concise and to the point. So I want to see more of a bullet points and very strict sort of really have a strict way of adding text here. So once you have like the first draft of your portfolio, then try to remove the text as much as possible and see whether you're able to still convey the same underlying message. So these should be all talking about why you made certain decisions and the reasoning behind it. That's all it should do pretty much. And these are, I think, just a very rudimentary descriptions of what I already can see and grasp from these screens. So that does not really add any value. Closing thoughts. Thanks for review. Yeah, CTA not really compelling. You maybe can use that to add your contact details, ask people to reach out or view other projects. Something a little bit more interesting and to the point. This is just, kind of waste of space. So overall, it kind of feels like a very quickly put together, not very precise. And I don't really, from looking at this, I don't really understand your way of working or your process. These are just like descriptions of some of the screens. I did not see market research or low fidelity. It may be that this was like a very quick project, a month-long MVP, so you don't always have the time to actually go through all of the proper steps. But I would like to see explanation perhaps for that and mentioning that because it was a shorter duration, I've considered doing like a low fidelity mockups, but because of the time constraint, I chose to go straight into high fidelity because we had some, mood boards or examples that we agreed with the client could be a good match, and I've just used that as inspiration to build high fidelity, because this is MVP, it will be iterated over and over again, and this is MVP. Sometimes it's just something for stakeholders to see in order for them to invest or give a green light for someone to build out later. So I would like to know a little bit more about the context of that MVP, what it will be used, and whether this is going to be part of actually something be built out, or this is just going to be for presentation, and then why you made every single decision that I'm seeing here. You don't need to be like detail about every single decision, but I'm not really seeing any of that explanation here at all. At least that's the overall idea that I'm getting. I guess again, I'm not reading everything, so I might be missing something out, but you need to build a portfolio with that in mind, that any recruiter will not be reading everything you have. So you need to be really careful what you add, be very specific and to the point, talking about the project that you're thinking behind things, and don't include anything else that is really not adding value. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you want me to review your portfolio on the next video, please leave the comment down below.